For the latest issue of the EF Journal, we wanted to explore bias, especially through the lens of someone whose role is to share information, people like educators and journalists. So we spoke with Soledad O'Brien. She was the keynote speaker at EF's Global Leadership Summit on Communication, and she's an Emmy Award-winning journalist who's covered everything from race relations to humanitarian disasters to presidential campaigns. As she says,
I feel like I have my PhD in confronting uncomfortable topics. I do, I love it, and I love it in people, and we too have a similarity bias. We have a bias toward people who are similar, so here's how you fix it.
Soledad tells the stories that aren't being told. She helps her viewers learn about people whose lives are different from their own, and that's one of the most important parts of travel. It helps people gain new perspectives instead of staying stuck within what they already know or think they know.
There's no question that now we can completely self-select the kind of information and content we want. And just by clicking through and knowing the likes that you already have, there's a whole entire sort of series of formulas that essentially say, well, if you like this, then you like this. And you go down this rabbit hole of all stuff that you've liked. The idea of bumping into something interesting that you haven't seen before is pretty unusual now. It's one of the reasons I actually follow a lot of people on Twitter and on social media. If I were to follow somebody who's into dance, the next thing you know, I would be going down this rabbit hole of like, here's all the different dance that I know, or here's all the music that I know, and kind of this is what I know and I'm comfortable with, right? And then all of a sudden you follow someone else and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this world existed. And then you're following this, and who knew that this happened? And all of a sudden you're still in that category of dance, but the thing that you thought you were really knowledgeable about or pretty knowledgeable about, you recognize like, I don't know anything. Look at all this world of music and dance that I never even thought about and never even knew existed. And I like a little corner of it, but now I like even more. And that's how I look at it. So I don't think it's always sort of political differences. I think it's just expanding your understanding of things.
When it comes to approaching bias, Soledad says the first step is just recognizing that it exists. Because no matter what people think about themselves, everyone's biased in one way or another.
I have a ton of biases, I really do. I mean, and I just try to recognize them and encourage other people to call them out in you so that you can say, okay, so then what's our way around this? How do we fix it? It's not gonna go away. But now that we recognize it, how do we solve for what we're actually trying to get to? There's been tons done on how music schools got rid of bias, right? They just had people perform behind a curtain so that you just take people who were the best, if that's what you were judging. And then we're actually just going for people who are qualified musicians. So there's lots of ways around, bias is not inherently terrible, it's just a reality. What's terrible is when you know you have a bias and you don't do anything about it. You just have to challenge it and strategize a way around it.
The biggest takeaway we got from Soledad is that everyone needs to be part of the conversation on bias so we can get as many voices as possible. So we spoke with teachers from around the country to see how they help their students talk about bias in the classroom. This is Karina C., a language teacher from Ohio.
The only way you're going to learn anything about someone else is to sit with them, to talk with them, to see their perspective. And really, that's the goal of any teacher, is to have these kids feel confident enough that they could go sit down with anyone and have an empathetic conversation and take on their perspective.